Now, the Bible has the story of Adam and Eve being tempted by a serpent into eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and then being kicked out of the Garden of Eden because of it. Is this story based on anything that really happened?
Yes, how the actual documents are more precise about their idea who exactly gave what to whom. Largely, obviously, we consider the tree of knowledge, yes. And obviously, some Anunnaki people thought it was a better idea to share information with their slave races than others. Obviously, was also their idea of forbidden interbreeding with very stray groups that are being tested, like lab rats, yes,
Okay.
or rat labs, as Lucifer suggests. And then the idea being, when those contracts were breached, they could no longer be used for certain purposes, yes, because either they look too similar to the original seeders, or they simply were no longer capable of fulfilling the tasks that they were intended for, and then there was the conflict, should we wipe them out, or should we simply kick them out, or at at the particular point in time, or should we just see what happened and let them be? And it was also create conflict between different races that made up the Anunnaki.
So, who are Adam and Eve supposed to represent?
Obviously, it wasn't two people. There were many people. There were many Adam and Eves that were being tested.
Okay.
It was just a genetic program, yes? You're aware. First, the Anunnaki inflicted your bloodlines during the Cretaceous period, right?
Right.
Then much later, again, approximately a million years ago.
So, did the serpent really exist?
Well, we are certain, not cask, but the reptilian race is their infliction, as later on, you must remember those documents were written much later, many of those particular beings blamed us for all of their problems, and therefore everything evil that happened was the evil reptilians' fault, as we also interfered with their project. But again, there are some things we can't share due to the reptilian politics.
Right. Is there one particular location you would consider to be the real Garden of Eden?
Well, depends krijg je in je versaltje different words. Again, Garden Eden is likely from your Judeo-Christian and Islamic tradition, right? Then, of course, there's the Garden of the Spirits, right? From your Persian Greek. Then, of course, the Nordic Hyperborea or Thule, etc. And again, Atlantis, likely all referring more or less to the same civilization that sank. However, it could also, to some degree, in some civilization, also lumped together with your Hyperborean content, which was further north, or Lemuria personal regions. But likely Garden Eden is more referring to the Hyperborean region or Atlantis, and it could also refer to visitations from other planets, and therefore referring to also something like a ship up there. So likely something was lumped in again, same as the Jesus person. The further you go down history, the further you can be certain that different concepts were lumped together. But likely this refers to the Hyperborean region, even perhaps to a certain region of your own continent currently where you're located on just further north. Likely before a pole shift or so a completely different area.
Okay, so do you know if the story of Adam and Eve, eating the forbidden fruit and being kicked out of a garden is based on any particular event?
Yes. Or it was more relating to the breeding program. There was simply the idea you have now today on your planet was supposed to be avoid the overpopulation problem, right? Especially at this point because it was just a prototype, it was necessarily supposed to recreate and spread. By the way, from what we're aware of, there's no mention of an apple anywhere. It refers generally to a fruit. Apple is like the more modern invention. In general, a fruit, and the fruit in this case simply being sexuality in this case, not because sexuality itself is sinful or anything else that's been made out of, but simply because people are supposed to breed.
Okay, so is it more tied to the Luciferian rebellion?
If you want to call it such, yes. Again, different terms have also been called the Luciferian rebellion. Again, Lucifer and Neptune likely more or less referring to the same person, likely all referring to the idea that yes, human beings also breeding with extraterrestrials, also breeding among each other, was not likely to be seen by the other faction.
Okay. Can you I know some of this might go into inter-reptilian politics, but like,
Yes.
are you allowed to elaborate at all? Like you said before that reptilians get blamed for the humans being kicked out of the so-called Garden of Eden. I mean, like, is there anything else you can share? Like why you get blamed for it? What involvement you had?
Concentrate on the brotherhood of the serpent.
Okay.
There's mention of that in many of your mythologies, your secret societies, your so-called Illuminati are much aware of this, right? The brotherhood of the serpent, wherever you encounter it, has to do with our species. We give information. Also, there were hybrids between us and our species. Also, the Enki Neptune person played a certain role, right?
Uh-huh.
Gave information to people on Earth. It was mostly about informing people about having certain traditions, also warlike scenarios, of course, being able to battle, etc. You could also read your book of Enoch, for example, right? There's, again, we can refer to these things that are on Earth. It's perfectly fine as long as we don't share anything that's not privy on Earth anyway. But the whole idea being, whether you find the brother of the serpent or the dragon, that's where you're dealing with our species.
Okay.